He does that?
Yeah.
Look at the horse's tongue here. This was my first time meeting this horse and this woman. And she had a problem
see if you can get him to back up
with brakes. Bolting. The horse can't walk a straight line very good. When halted, he turned sideways. So I didn't need to see much more than this.
I don't know. And then let's see if you can do a one rein stop. Just from a walk,
So
you're going to slide your hand down the inside rein.
He does it a little bit because he's been
Let the
doing
outside
it
rein slip through your
while
hand.
ridden for a long time.
And when he comes to a stop, release.
He went on to learn one rein stops very nicely.
Okay,
and gave
that's good.
to the bridle.
So I'm going to do that.
So it's a quick correction, steady pressure. See his tongue still just from an old habit, but that did go away, and it went away quickly. Every ride that they have gets better and better. I'm riding in her saddle, that's why my stirrups are short.
I like just to let him go long and low, and that there's no bit so when I get up to that block, I'll ask him to stop.
Now his owner's going to ride him again.
Stand, give him a little correction.
He is prone to walking off, and we can correct that
sit.
With a quick half halt.
Be ready to give him a correction if when you're leaning forward, you know, get your reins up a little more. Now just sit there a minute.
So he's going to be more able to comply to
whenever you're ready, you can ride off. So you're just going to do the exactly same thing that you did with the bit and see if he's better. I just rode him for about 10 minutes.
His brain checking
10 to 15 minutes.
Now, should I have it collected like an English ring?
Ride him exactly the way that you did with the bit.
Every horse that I retrain in the last 20 years.
So when you come up to that, ask him to halt. So you're going to say his name.
And if you keep watching, you're going to see a lot of still photos and short video clips of horses going bitless.
And release. Nice. Nice. How about a back up? Soft. Nice. Nice. Much better. Yeah, make him whole. Good. Good. Excellent. That is nice. He stood. I would stand there even longer than that. Make it a habit for a minute.
A lot of times people say they try the bitless bridle and it doesn't work because the horses do the same behaviors, of course, that they've done for years, just because they're anticipating the pain or the distraction. They're anticipating it, so they keep doing the same thing. And
when you get even with that block,
give it a try and be safe, an enclosed arena, enclosed ring,
very nice.
See the horse gets better and better with every ride. Here she could have shortened the hands.
Good.
I'm glad she gave the correction.
Yep, good job.
Shorten the reins a little bit, but still keep them slack.
Now you can ask them, that's
and
good.
You'll see her last stop gets much softer. Remember, I've never worked with this girl before. She's never rode bitless before.
Next time you halt by that trough there, have him back up. Get a good seat.
With the pre-cue of shortening the reins a little bit or a little half halt, he knew to stop. They'll learn to bring their head down into the bridle with time.
That's good. Now look up and go.
Just took a still photo of him and his bit before we went bitless. This horse here, you're going to see he's going to buck or kick out in the back, which he did a lot more a couple months before this and hadn't done it. But he does it because I hit him with the whip. And so horses, and I correct them. So horses buck, bolt, rear, all with bits. And they can do all those things bitless. But they can recover from a correction easier. I was able to give him a good correction. And his buck was from attitude. He had been ridden for a full year by his owner and never made to go into a trot because she was afraid he was going to do just that. So it was kind of muscle memory for him. And I had actually, in the same day, rode him with the bit for the first time. And he was much worse. I had not ridden him with a bit. I wanted to make some footage to show, and somehow it got deleted. I'm going to work on that in another video as soon as I can find time to do that with the horse. That is not mine, because mine have not had a bit in their mouth. Never been ridden with a bit.
Get around there. Get around there.
Be nice if he was softer in his face here, and that's why we need to get them soft in their face and to be able to flex laterally, so we have control to be able to drive their hindquarters around should they need a correction.
This horse, when he came to me, that's what he did, only much higher, because he doesn't like being told what to do. Doesn't have good impulsion. When I look, squeeze, he should be going, and he doesn't want to move out.
Yeah.
Walk. When I put leg on him, I want him to go.
Yeah.
Good boy. And move. Walk. Good. That's what I want. Some energy. When I give him energy.
Put some passion in your riding, horsey. I said put some passion in your riding, horsey.
That's why he does that defiant thing and hasn't been ridden in probably 3 weeks or maybe even 4 weeks.
Because you're
But he only
cranky.
did it once the first time he came here, and then he hadn't done it since until just now. So horses buck, bolt, rear all the time, mostly with bits because most everybody rides on a bit. Still do it. That's attitude. Okay, so we have to fix the attitude. Not everything's a magic pill, but you have to ride in what you have more control, and he actually understands this better than somebody jerking on his mouth. Right. So slide down low, and he braces, or holding, waiting. I can pull, release. I can pull harder, but I can't let up once I pull harder. So the minute he gives, yeah, that's what we need. Good. And we do it in the direction, because I need an e-brake in this horse, and I don't need him to do that and lead out, or go backwards, or spin around in circles. No. I need him not to root, but that's it. And then walk along. So, I want my release brake to work, obviously. I just pull back, release, release. That's great. If it fails, then I go and release, then I'm going to go to my e-brake. You need to do it at the top. Shut up. As he's going along, slide, hands up low. Really get your hands to this, out to the side. Good. And he stops his feet, he gets you to his feet. Good. He smells my boot. He needs to smell my boot and not just tip his head here. So I'm holding. I'm kind of dragging his head, so I'm not giving a release. I want to give to it. Waiting, there. Put my fingers up there. The reason I need him to come all the way back here is to check in with me. So I use that e-brake. I use that e-brake in an emergency, like if a deer jumped out of the woods and he went to spook, and I want to shut him down right away. I don't want to ride a horse that's going 20 miles an hour through the woods, hoping I stay on him. I'd just rather shut him down and regroup.
He just went to bolt, but I grabbed him quick to do a one rein stop. This is a very spoiled home-raised baby that is 5, and I did start him. Later in the videos you will see I put a bit in his mouth. His owner wanted to have him started with a bit and then bitless, but I said best the other way around, and he's a little heavy in his face here, but he can be really soft. This is a warm blood that I started with a rope halter, then bitless, probably 3 or 4 rides. And another one that I started 2 there. This is a friend's horse, rode him bitless. Walk, trot, canter. This is a mare that was fractious and aggressive, and she goes good. And another one that was a rearer, photo op with no helmet with the client. This one would attack, and she's great now. That one bucked somebody off, and
you know, at first giving him
dressage rider that
the shorter rein, and then as you guys are trusting each other to go back to your longer rein, because you need to be able to catch it quick and correct it quick. Good boy.
Retrain bitless and put the bit back in if you need it for dressage.
See right there, I just didn't like his ears. But I'm not sure what to do just because I don't like his ears.
I just keep working your hands and your legs until it gets to where you like it, and if you feel any resistance in either, is just to give him a pop on the rein or the leg. If he resists either, you know. And maybe you can, you know, when you say like his ears, is it his attitude or what he's doing?
When his ears are out the door.
Okay.
But his body isn't really out the door.
Then I wouldn't, you know, because he's listening to both, yeah. You know, you can't blame him for taking an ear to as long as his mind is between your hands and your legs. You know what I mean? I think that's not that bad, because he's not spooking, and if he's not coming off the rail, you know.
I just have stills of this one. This one reared and flipped over backwards on a lady, and she said he was a rogue horse, and he never did it. He was at my house for 3 years. Never did it again. This one is just
Your battery's low.
2018.
Yeah.
February, it's the latest. This is actually the second ride. And the first one, bitless, was pretty much the same, only she did the sound which she did when we tried her out pretty much the whole time, a half an hour. And the first ride she did it, which was a few days before this one, a little bit, and now she's not doing it at all. We're teaching her one rein stop. I ride, and then her new owner, the beginner rider, is going to ride after, so we need to teach her to be soft in her face. We're riding in the ring, first time we stayed in one half of the ring. This horse is 18 years old. Missouri Foxtrotter. And rode her again after this day, and she's doing lovely.
So I wanted to go to the rail. This rein straight back.
And she went fine in her bit, but more anxious. Horses that go good in their bits go just as good or better without it. Horses that are really bad because they're nervous or it's really hurting them go better. There's some that don't go better and need a lot of retraining, but those are more rare. Ones that have had their face hauled on and never got a release, just pushed through their bitted bridle like a bull in a china shop. Those don't go better without a lot of retraining. But I would not ride them in a bit either out of the ring without having brakes. This is
Let her go. Trot her
a
up a
new
little
owner.
bit.
She's a beginner rider. And actually this was the first day, because I see the rain here.
There you go.
So we rode in the rain
Pull that
first
inside
time.
rein.
I
Yep.
rode her first. And
Good job.
this
And
was
then you can just
her
halt
very first
anywhere.
time.
Just mount anywhere away from the gate.
And she's at a new place, in a ring that she's never been in. This is her second time.
And then just sit there a
riding the
minute.
mare.
Sit there a minute. Sit back. Relax. Wait till you're ready to go off. And then you can go head to the left. Or the right. So just really relax your body.
Again, she's no longer making that sound that she made constantly. So that's a good feeling.
My
and
bad,
she's
she's
just
dying as
relaxing.
usual.
Which is
Then
good.
think about where you're
Good
going to
for both of
stop,
them.
and you're just going to shorten your reins, sit,
A lot of
and
people
squeeze and
have deer
release.
horses because they want to cover a lot of ground quickly,
Good.
and we're letting her know that she can just go slow, and she's taking care of her new rider.
Good job. Right rein. Keep her head on your arc. So right rein straight back to your hip.
Be training another horse off of my horse, driving a new horse. This is me shooting off my own horse. Again, this is me on my own horse, with cell phone footage. Switch guns here. We shoot 5, reholster and shoot the last 5. This horse has never had a bit in his mouth. Ruger. I do a lot of training and did demonstrations. I've been doing that since '05. So I've ridden, I think, more horses than anyone I know in Dr. Cook's Bitless Bridle. So I'm very familiar with how it works. study this, you can pause it and come back and study this graph. It's very important about how you want a clear path. Whoops. Study that. My horses messing around. These are made in America. This is a young kid driving Bitless. It's great for beginner students. My mare hitched to a sleigh in Dr. Cook's Bitless. Rehabbing a little mini here. And my horse Ruger. And this was after like 5 years not being hitched. And, you know, be safe above all. Be safe. I'm not recommending you do this. Always with horses, safety is a big factor with me. And I stack the odds in my favor. This is the... So this is what horses do when they get a first bit in their mouth. Is they mouth it a lot until they learn to suck it up and accept it. But you certainly couldn't be expected to steer off of that. So left on their own, if he was on his own with that and not in the cross ties, they try to rub their face on their legs. A lot of times you don't see that with a first bit because people put them right to work lunging them and have a whip on their fanny so they suck it up, but this is what a first bit in the horse's mouth looks like. This is the same horse Bitless. We only just put it in that day, didn't ride on it. And this is this same horse, and he probably has probably about 5 rides on him here, but I have a good one rein stop. It's another client's horse.
And one back up.
This horse pushed through pressure really bad.
Good. Very good.
And was not a good candidate.
Yeah, pulling, he's not giving.
For Bitless.
I do that when he roots.
Not without a lot of retraining.
Yeah, so this is a horse that doesn't go right in the front. Probably 1 out of 20 is going to go right in this bridle better. But he's not one.
This horse bucks somebody off. I hate doing re-rides. I'd rather do first rides. And I did a re-ride on him for a friend because they tried to do a first ride. I think the girl had never done it before. And he launched her. Pretty much as soon as she put her butt in the saddle. So I rode him bareback with a rope halter at first. Did some groundwork with him. You see, off farm I go into many situations when I'm training with all my videos. I work with what I have. There's my mounting block, Home Depot bucket. Stuff in the way in the ring. You know, so the situations aren't where I get to meet the horse, work with them, bond with them. I work with whatever I have. And with re-rides, I always like to do bareback with a pad, even a double pad, and then I put the saddle on him later. And that's all that was needed to get him going for the people under saddle again without bucking. I always wish people would let me do this first because I've put in first rides on at least 375 horses, could be 400 by now, and I've never had one buck. So not really doing re-rides anymore. I'll do a first ride because odds are they've already bucked, so there's a 50% chance, or better, that they're gonna buck again since they already bucked somebody off. But I still haven't had one buck me on a re-ride, and I've done plenty of them. This little pony was an attack pony, but we did driving in Bitless. Another nervous horse, rehabbed. These are all first rides.
Steady pressure
Mm-hmm.
and waiting for him to drop his head and then put back. Because I want him to do that under saddle so the wall stops him from going back any further. If he pulls on my hands like that, I'm going to pull on his face because I'm asking soft, steady pressure and waiting for him to do that.
Thanks for watching.